How's it going, guys? I'm back. I have a story for you guys, and it has to do with someone I personally know. And this is why this story is much more satisfying than other stories. So, this person I know was driving home from the gym. The cops pull him over because they said he was swerving. So, of course, he pulls over and they ask him, "You have anything in your car that you shouldn't have?" He says, "No." "Well, then you don't mind if we search it, do you?" He says, "Of course not. Search it. I have nothing to hide." Which is a trick question. That's just so they can search your car and get your consent. Anyways, so they search his car and they find a pill. And the officer asks him, "What's this?" And he says, "Well, it's my workout pill." And he goes, "Okay." I guess it had a marking on it. It was just, a powder form or something like that, but it was a hard, pill. And so when he goes to the car, he comes back, my friend actually thought that the officer had switched pills on him because, and this is from, of course, what I think happened, the officer, with his saliva, probably, licked his thumb or fingers, rubbed the pill so that the etching would come off. So now it just looks like, a blank pill. And my friend said, "Hey, that's not the pill you got. This is BS and blah blah blah." The cop said, "Well, you're under arrest. We're charging you with possession of a controlled substance and driving under the influence." How they got that, I don't know. But anyway, so they take him to jail and they charge him with a felony. Now, mind you, this was a pill he used to work out, like hydroxycut or, something to that effect. So it was basically nothing more than caffeine. So they take him to jail, tow his car, and what is the bail amount, you ask? $200,000. So he ends up filing motions, and he had a public defender. Public defender, of course, was pretty much doing the DA's job. You need to do a plea bargain. You need to do a plea bargain. That's all the public defender would say. And he knew better. So he ends up saying no, 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 and gives the public defender motions. And the public defender says, "I'm not filing this. Hell no. I got to see if this is even legitimate." And of course it was. And so nothing was filed, but in the end, it came to the judge's attention that he tried to file it, and that the public defender didn't want to file it. So he filed a motion to switch public defender, disqualify the public defender, since the public defender was incompetent, basically. The judge denied it. "No, public defender's not incompetent. You're just crazy." So this thing dragged on for a couple weeks. Now, this whole time he was in jail. Okay, keep that in mind. This could be you. He was in jail because the officer just, decided to, say he had some kind of drug on him. So he was in possession of a controlled substance, and because of that, automatically just threw in there the under the influence, driving under the influence charge. Now, this is a standard, operating procedure is what they do, from what I'm seeing. And in the end, when the test results came back, of course, it was negative. It wasn't a drug, at least not an illegal drug. It was over-the-counter pill. So they still didn't let him out, and the felony got reduced to a misdemeanor. They got rid of the felony, I guess. They just dropped the felony, and they kept driving under the influence. And so he was no longer facing the felony. He was only facing the DUI. How they got this, I mean, there was no BAC testing. The officer never, it was just no test, nothing. They just took him straight to jail, out of the car, and that's it. So how they came to this conclusion is beyond me. So, long story short, it went from a felony and a misdemeanor down to a misdemeanor, and then after that, because he was still trying to file different motions, and the same public defender didn't want to, was feeling the pressure. He's had been in jail already for I don't know how many weeks, and Of course, the public defender never did a probable cause hearing, which is what they should have done. But what happens, and this is what they did, and this is how they play their game, especially with felonies and misdemeanors. What they'll do is they'll say, do you waive your time? Do you waive time? Yes, I waive my right to a speedy trial. Now, if I were innocent, I would never waive my right to a speedy trial, because that would put the burden on them to prove what they're saying. So, of course, since he kept waiving his right to a speedy trial, thinking that was the best thing to do, he just sat in jail the whole time. It's pretty crazy, but that's exactly what happened. So he lost his job, of course, and when this was about, maybe I guess, the third week of being in jail, he was gonna go pro se. When he, I guess, told that to the judge, they talked to the DA talked to the public defender said, hey, look, we can drop all this right now and just plead to an infraction. And, you know, of course, being 3 weeks in jail, he said, you know what, I'll take it. So it went from a felony misdemeanor to an infraction. What infraction it is, I still don't know. I gotta see the record, and that way I can verify it and I can show it on video later on. I'll do an update of this video and prove that that's exactly what happened. But this is what they do. They'll make you sit in jail and basically take our deal, or you're sitting there and, you know, you're screwed. And the average person, of course, isn't going to do that. I'm surprised he went in there as long as he did. But they were hammering him to do a plea bargain. That public defender was pretty much doing the DA's job, and the DA would just sit down there, and, you know, the public defender would do this to everybody. All these defendants that were in court, the public defender, you can do 10, 20 years. You know, you better just go ahead and take this misdemeanor, wet and reckless. It's a scam, total scam. It just really pissed me off. And what pissed me off even more was that the fact that people were basically kissing the public defender's hand after, you know, the public defender had screwed them, because they had no idea. So anyways, wanted to share this with you guys, and the moral of the story is, don't ever let officers search your car, because you just don't know what they might find, they might plant, or they might just accuse you of something that's not even the case, like in this case. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and keep in mind, you should never, ever let anybody search your car. And if they're part of the government, yeah, and they say they want to help you, you better be scared. Thanks for watching.